Guys,
man.
welcome to the coolest. Wait, what happened? I don't know, dude. We're doing this. What's going on, Sardis and Dave and who's that chick that watches now?
Lissa.
Lissa, what's up, Lissa? That's the only three people that watch.
That's
this
it.
show.
That's all that Flip can remember right now. How we doing, everybody?
So sorry, I was telling Ryan before we started recording. My wife put a new feather thing on top of the bed, so it's like extra comfy. And I was like, I'm gonna go take like a 30-minute nap, and then I set my alarm for 9:25, and I woke up and was just like paralyzed. I was so comfy I couldn't move. I was like, I don't want to move. I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna stay right here. And
I really want to love them, but man, they get.
Yeah, I have like 3 fans in my room. I'm fat too, brother.
Well, relatively. You're muscular. It's not as like insulating.
Yeah, but you're also taller, so it's like
right. But I'm literally like 40% whale blubber.
I'm like probably 30%. Probably easily 30. How are you today?
I'm probably about the same as you. I'm rather exhausted. Today has been freaking nuts, dude. Like, I started work at 6 a.m. and I think every moment until tonight at about, we started at 9:35. By the way, we haven't explained yet, by the way. We're not live. I'm in California right now. I was
joking. See, that acting is so fucking good.
So yeah, my day started at 6 a.m. and until like 11 o'clock tonight, every moment of my life has been scheduled. And yeah.
Taylor fucked up my sleep schedule on I shared that Bro Door photo shoot.
Yep.
And she woke me up the following day and was like, that's embarrassing. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what? And then when I found out what she was like, you just ruined my entire sleep. But since then, I haven't felt like I got any sleep ever. So, but today I had to get up early, and by early, before 2 p.m., it's my day off. So right. that's my catch up day. I had to get up at 2 p.m. to go get this tattoo finished. Yeah, there was, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this part right here was like super dark. It was super dark, and it's because after I got it tattooed like a dumbass, I couldn't hold in the scratching. So I was just like, fuck, and fucked it up. But yeah, it looks good. It's finished now. I got a severed Asian woman's head on my arm. No, I don't hate women. I don't hate Asian women. I hate all women. So it's equal opportunity. That could be anyone's head. But Taylor was like, you got an Asian woman. I was like, do you want me to get your head tattooed on my arm? And then she's like, that's fucking weird. I was like, yeah, that's a little weird. But I don't know what to do next. I don't know what the next tattoo is. I was telling him.
You've got an idea? Yeah.
I got the 5 Deadly Venoms tattoo. I want to get like the masks. I showed her some stuff from Lone Wolf and Cub, and she thinks about getting like a big Lone Wolf and Cub piece right here. Or just do a traditional Japanese style sleeve on this arm. But we don't know yet. I'm deciding. I want to talk briefly. I watched every Shaw Brothers movie.
That video that you put out, by the way, great. I love when you do stuff like that, running down the entire catalog of something. It's so all-encompassing. It's the kind of video that I really, really appreciate because it just answers every possible question.
Well, thank you. I watched every martial arts movie, not every movie that it's like 700 something that's available on DVD. I'm not doing that. I thought about it after I watched the last 2. I was like, maybe I'll just watch all of them. And I was like, no, I can't, because there's musicals and they're terrible. They do not hold up well. Like, you guys know how I feel about musicals. Add Chinese to the equation. It's not fun.
I love how that makes it sound like you're just perfectly racist.
No, I'm not racist, dude. I hate everybody. But yeah, what I noticed about the Shaw Bros movies after watching all the martial arts ones is that there's only like one movie I truly hated and I couldn't find any redeeming qualities of. The rest of them either range from good to very good, and there's a few masterpieces in there. I think there's a few fucking just 5 out of 5 best cinema I've ever seen type of stuff.
It's a very strong catalog. Then I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
It's crazy that out of 265 martial arts movies, there's literally one bad movie. There was 3 in my video that I talked about that I didn't like, but still I found redeeming qualities of the other 2. Right. And like they aren't like objectively bad. The one that I hate is like objectively a terrible fucking movie. But the 2, like some of the masterpieces, the 8th Diagram Pole Fighter I think is a masterpiece. The 5 Deadly Venoms I think is a masterpiece, and then Judgment of an Assassin, the Bells of Death I think are all masterpieces. I mean, here's 8th Diagram Pole Fighter. This is absolutely worth the purchase to get. Well, I don't want to talk too much about pickups because we are doing a live show tomorrow. So
I don't have any pickups either way. So,
but I want to talk about the new one-arm boxer from Arrow.
Another good video that you put out, by the way.
Thank you. And it got brought to my attention because I read that booklet at like 5 a.m. I got to sneeze. I got some Indian spices coming in my nose. I watched I read the booklet again at 5 a.m. and then someone in the comments pointed some inaccuracies out, and I reread it, and it's both of them fucking suck. I don't understand how Arrow is letting the QC on their martial arts stuff. Like disc issues I kind of get, because one disc in a test pressing could fuck up an entire run, but you're not treating these genre films, these martial arts films, with the same love and respect that you're treating like your horror movies or your cult classics. And Simon Abrams is like the worst. He's the worst fucking writer I don't understand how that dude writes for the New Yorker, writes for Ebert. My daughter is 4; she could write a better sentence than him.
So before we go on, I want to point out one thing. Unsure how Arrow could do that with the inaccuracies, and I'm not defending Arrow. Boutiques make a lot of mistakes. I get all that. However, one thing I've noticed, it seems like all of the love and passion you just mentioned is in a lot of the cult stuff, a lot of the horror stuff, and maybe some of this other martial arts stuff is not the same level of quality that you'd expect. Maybe because they can't really fact check that. Maybe that's not their passion.
My thing is I don't think the people they hire are truly fans of the genre. You look at the 88 releases or the Eureka releases, and those dudes are hardcore fans. Love these films. Frank, Mike, Arnie. And then you get Arrow, and it feels like Arrow wants to kind of be Criterion a little bit with like how they've been going about these martial arts releases. Like I like how they're treating. Like I love the high quality artwork on their releases. But the thing that makes them stand out isn't the fucking content that Arrow is producing. Right. It's that Frederick Ambrosine has opened his vault of interviews to both Arrow and 88, and I think that's the only standout thing about these releases. I mean, if it wasn't, there's a 41-minute interview with Jimmy Wang Yu on there. Speaks perfect English. I didn't know that. There's an interview with him on YouTube when he's older, and he suffered a stroke between the old interview and the one on YouTube, and so maybe he just like regressed a little bit in how he was able to pronounce English. But yeah, that entire interview on the One Arm Boxer release is in English, and it's well worth the price. I mean, he talks about a movie called Tiger Boy, which is lost. They don't know. Like, there's rumors that the Hong Kong Film Archive has a copy, but they haven't showed anybody. It's not available. So he talks about a movie that Shaw Brothers did that's in black and white that is just lost to time. And he talks about everything about his career, and it's such a very informative interview that was filmed in 2001, and now he sadly passed away. But everything else about that packaging, like the booklet sucks. Both of them just it just, this is gonna sound, I don't know how to word this. It seems like Arrow hires guys who are like broad strokes, like just love cinema.
Right. And that's kind of what I was getting at when I said that, is maybe they told Arrow, I'm a huge fan of this, I will do great work, or they had somebody else refer them and they didn't know to check it. Now, That being said, when it was reported that the first time they did it, there was all kinds of inaccuracies. Don't let them continue.
Yeah. We were talking because there's a bunch of there's a chat group with all the Asian cinema YouTubers on Facebook. It's like Will, Fanatical Dragon, Hong Kong Blu-rays, and I'm in there. Martial Arts Theater 3000, and someone brought up that maybe this booklet has been done for a while. Maybe it's just all contractual stuff
right,
which makes sense. My issue though is that like this stuff, this genre has always been looked upon as a little goofy.
Yeah, I get
and it's not like I don't watch these movies unless it's like what me and Sean are covering tomorrow, Bastard Swordsman, which is just wild. I'm not laughing at these movies. Like, these movies are to me serious art. So when you get this packaging and you're like, oh man, this is great. This is like exactly what you want. But then you open it up, you read the book, and you're like, wow, that's lackluster. Like you're not getting what I think these releases deserve. And I do think 88 is completely miles ahead. Eureka miles ahead of Arrow at this.
Yeah, I think Eureka is clearly the best out of the three right now.
I think Eureka is the best label. I mean, their stuff that they select for like the Masters of Cinema line is just incredible. They feel like what Criterion used to be, just across the board, and I like that they have like different lines, like Criterion's Criterion, but they have like the cult side of stuff. They have the like cinephile side of stuff,
I do wish, and I know a lot of labels are doing this, but I do wish that Eureka found more reason and love to put out some of their cult horror titles. Like they did great for Cujo, they did Fright Night, stuff like that, but lately it's all Masters of Cinema and Asian, and that's great. Keep those coming, but I mean, you're getting big. Just add another release, not even every month, every like 3 months.
Yeah, they're like some months they'll have 4, sometimes they'll have 2. Like they're not consistent. Yeah. But 88 stepped up their game a lot this year, in my opinion. I mean, ever since Frederick Ambrosine did the whole, like, he allowed I don't know why he was holding on to these things. I would like to like maybe get him on the show and ask him like, hey, why did you have hundreds of hours of interviews that you're just holding on to?
Yeah.
But 88's I just like how uniformed everything is. You get slipcover art by Kung Fu Bob and loaded with special. I just got their Human Lanterns release. Fucking, have you seen that movie?
Not yet. I still don't have mine.
It's a slasher movie, but it's just like
it's one of the ones I'm looking forward to watching first. Yeah,
so much fun, dude. It's so much fun. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's the same transfer as Eureka, same commentary on One Arm Boxer as Frank's on Eureka. It's just, I think it's worth it alone for that interview. So
nice.
And also, I mean, I don't want to get conspiracy theories here. Let me mess up my hair a little bit. We'll get a little crazier. I think Simon Abrams bought Twitter followers. If you go to his Twitter profile, he has like I think 4,000 or 5,000 followers. Multiple tweets with 0 likes, 0 hearts, and then like some with 2. Every once in a while, he'll get one with 10. But then if you go to his follower list, there's a lot of just random Indian bot accounts. Like a lot. Like I counted 25 just from simply scrolling before I was like, all right, I think this is enough to conclude my theory. So I think he bought Twitter followers.
Could be.
Which is wild. The dude,
yeah.
I don't know. Allegedly.
Any brand new watches this week?
No.
I literally right before this just watched Whodunit. This is from Vinegar Syndrome. This is just the slipcover because the case is literally still upstairs and disc in the player. This is one that's also called The Island of Blood, and I really liked it. Did you ever read what is the actual name of the book? But the Agatha Christie one about the 10 Little Indians poem. Like 10, there's 10 people on an island and they start to pass, and there's like a poem based on like there's 5 little Indians playing near a beehive, one was whatever, and then there were 4, and it goes through like this rhyming scheme, and they all die according to what the line in the poem is. And it's a similar idea for this. And what's funny is the second like AKA name for this is Whodunit, and it's a decent little mystery. And I was kind of surprised because it seems like a very formulaic slasher, and then by the end of it, it really throws you for a loop. And it's got like a not great following. Like the IMDb score is under 5. It's like a 4.2, and it's pretty damn good. I mean, the acting's not great. It's better than average for films like these. There's a couple like decent kills, and the weirdest part is it's pretty tame overall. Like there's no nudity, nothing like that, but it's decent. I mean,
No
it kept my
nudity
attention.
in a Vinegar Syndrome release?
That happens a lot, surprisingly.
Huh.
But yeah, there's not even a quick snip that you could see something.
Did I talk about Northman?
I'm not sure.
I watched it either last week or the week before. Loved it. 10 out of 10. I think it's Eggers. The more I think about it, because after it was over, I was like, oh, I still like Lighthouse more. But the more I thought about it, I like Northman more. It's great.
Not bad.
They're naked at the end. Have you seen it?
I have not. Waiting for the disc.
There's a
Missed
sword
it in
fight,
theater.
and they're naked.
I've missed so many things. Like I didn't get to see Everything Everywhere in theaters.
When's that out?
That is supposed to be out in like 3 weeks from recording of this, and when it plays, I think it'll be about 2 weeks away.
I can't wait to watch that. I love Michelle Yeoh. I love that America's discovering like old Hong Kong stars and just like latching, like Tony Leung and Shang-Chi, and now Michelle Yeoh. They're like, who are these Asians? They're awesome. True. Like you have hundreds of movies to watch.
Let's see. I think the other things I watched we're going to talk about tomorrow. I've got 2 fun ones that we're going to talk about live, but
what are we talking about tomorrow?
We'll talk about that after. I'm talking about recent watches for the week. Anyways, yeah.
I'll look back on my letterbox. I watched something. Oh, I watched the original 13 Assassins, and during the fight, have you seen the remake? No. Okay. Do you know what happens in the movie? So both of them are set up almost the same. The first hour and a half is like a political drama. It's all very much dialogue heavy. And then the last 45 minutes is nothing but a pure spectacle. So there's a lord that is very evil. I'm just breaking it down into simple terms. There's a lord that's evil, and he's going through this. He's going to be going through this town, and he had killed and betrayed a lot of people. So 13 assassins get together. They pretty much booby trap this town. It's like a little village, and they kill all of these people. It's like 150 something people. And I want to rewatch the remake because I was doing some like research on Aichi Kudo, who's the director, and he wasn't primarily a Chambara director, but he was kind of forced into doing this. Like he was kind of like, they were like, you need to start making swordplay films. And He did a few, but then this one, there's a lot of like really cool shots that I don't know how they were able to like achieve with technology in 63. And what they did was they took one of those big ass fucking cameras and put it into, like, nailed it to a platform, and Aichi Kudo sat there, and men would pick him up and move him into the action. So it looks like it's a handheld camera movements, but it's literally like 10 guys moving this big ass camera and dude around, and it works extremely well. I do think Nikkei's version is the better movie. I think it's better acted, which might be a little troublesome for some people because, you know, anything that's old is automatically the greatest thing ever,
right?
Like Jaws. And I did watch Jaws a couple weeks ago. I forgot to tell you.
Did anything change for you?
I still think it sucks, but I I think it's a perfectly directed movie. Like people say, I couldn't fault it. I just don't care about anybody in that movie.
But that doesn't make it suck necessarily. I mean, a lot of the people in there are insufferable for sure. Like, especially when you pay attention. Like the guys on the there, one of the guys was drunk the entire time.
Hell yeah.
Anyways,
we need to do like a bottom three, top three of. I almost said Stephen Hawking, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, we'll do that soon. I'm sure we've been crapping on him a lot this year, and he's
He's
got a
great.
lot of bangers for sure.
Oh yeah, lots of bangers I can just name. Just right off the top of my head. Saving Private Ryan.
Anyways, you ready to get into our topic for tonight?
Yes.
Well, all I wanted to say is that at least last week, it's a little cooler here this week, but last week it was starting to feel like summer.
It was awful.
And
did you change the light hue?
I did. I've been queued up the entire time. So what we're going to do is we're each going to share 5 films that really gives, not to sound cliche, but those summer vibes, and ones that really just make it feel like it is summertime. And obviously Flip has named the one for me that is the biggest, so I purposefully am not going to bring up Jaws tonight, but Jaws is like the definitive summer movie, in my opinion. It is obviously ocean oriented and beach oriented, which for a lot of people, even though you and I are in the Midwest, for a lot of people that is the summer. And I get that, but I think that there are certain things that make me think of summer more, and I'd like to get into it. So, you want me to start, or you want to start?
I want to say one thing. I hate summer. I fucking hate
Oh
summer.
yeah.
I hate it. I don't understand these people who are like, oh, I can't wait for summer. Oh, especially when you live in the Midwest, when people are like, oh, the summer, I can't wait.
Can't stand it.
It's like, dude, I want to fucking kill myself during the summer. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I hate summer. So when I think of a summer movie, it's a movie that I am sitting inside with the windows open, lights off on the inside, air condition on, with the windows open, because I'm rich and I can do that. And just kidding. And just, I tweeted the other day, I said, man, the nicer it gets, something like, I forgot what the tweet was, but it was like, every time it gets nice out, I just think, man, today is the perfect day to open the windows and stay inside. And that's what I want to talk about. So you kick things off.
I then am going to kick things off with a film that really encompasses everything you just said. And my number 5 I'm going to go with is Do the Right Thing. It is a quintessential, it is gross, humid, hot outside. Everybody in this is pissed off because it's the stink of summer, and it leads to some crazy tension that eventually pops off. And I think that in our ever evolving hellscape of the US right now, it is still a very timely film. It is a very important film in terms of race relations. It is something that shows that it is possible to work together. I mean, you got Giancarlo Esposito looking wild and young in that movie. You've got Spike Lee working in an Italian restaurant, and everybody, just
Spike
messing
Lee
around.
being a good director.
Yeah,
like he was on
director.
Old Boy, great guy.
So we'll bypass that comment. There is a lot to love in that movie, and one of the things that I love is how much it really hits home that summer can just genuinely suck. I mean, people, playing in like fire hydrant water just because it is so miserable outside. And Spike did that with a few of his movies. There are like the Summer of Sam film, super hot. It is something where it's just depicted as just this nasty time. And that's the thing. A lot of these, the Midwest and some of these East Coast, like New York types, they have just so much gross humidity that summer can really suck for a lot of people. Anyways,
it's terrible, dude. And speaking of the Midwest, my first pick is a movie that just encapsulates what it feels like. When you watch this movie, you feel and smell the Midwest, even though it doesn't take place in the Midwest. It's a proposition. This movie fucking is fantastic, but you look at those guys. That's how I feel when I'm in front of a 120 degree oven. No, sorry,
dirty
it's
movie.
not a 120 degree oven. It's a 600 degree oven. It's 120 degrees in the kitchen, sweating my balls off, wanting to die. Just like the proposition. Great movie. One of the best modern westerns ever. Takes place in the Outback, which is just perpetually in the summer.
Essentially.
Yeah. So I feel like that counts. Perpetually in the summer.
Well, and even then, technically a movie could be in the winter if it makes you think of summer somehow. But, where would that be? Like Florida? And who's in Florida, really? My number 4... My number 4 is Appealing for a Life That I Never Got to Live, and a movie that I think we've talked about on here before. And that's
Stella got her groove back?
Number 4 is Adventureland. I think it's Jesse Eisenberg's his only good role. I think that
Social Network.
Well, he doesn't really.
Or Now You See Me.
Oh, I've never seen Now You See Me. So, Social Network. I feel like he didn't act. He just is Mark Zuckerberg, basically.
Don't insult Jesse Eisenberg like that.
I'm sorry, Lex.
Oh, that's right. He is Lex. I forgot.
Adventureland. You've got a really good cast. Jesse Eisenberg kills it. You got Ryan Reynolds, being the sorry, I mixed up my Ryans. Being the hot person for Kristen Stewart to be attached to. You've got Kristen Stewart. The entire story is very, very late teens, and it really just screams summer. And the whole thing has been around them living essentially at this amusement park that they're working at for a summer. Oh, and I totally forgot. You got Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader as the managers working at the amusement park. Just fantastic all around. Really great movie.
Quickly become one of my favorite actors. Do you watch Barry?
I don't yet, and that's because of the whole thing that my wife's really trying to wait for shows to be over for us to start them.
Well, she better not start CIS or CSI or whatever.
Yeah, we're not going to watch that crap.
Fantastic.
Hey, what's your number 4, huh?
My number 4, Pitch Perfect. Any of them. I love those movies. You're laughing at me. I'm
not laughing at you. That just came out of nowhere. I love the first one.
Okay, I love them. Okay, I've taken my mom to go see all of them.
I still haven't seen the third one.
Dude, it's so good. I love that whole cast. It's so much fun. It feels like very similar to like Mean Girls. It's just like every once in a while you get these comedies that are just like they're so comforting, and that's what Pitch Perfect is for me. It's just a nice little comfort food. Just lay there with my mom. We're cuddling. We're naked. We're watching Pitch Perfect. Half of that you didn't catch, did you?
No. I'm zoned out based on what you're saying.
I said Pitch Perfect is just, it's just pure comfort, just laying there watching Pitch Perfect, cuddling with my mom, or naked watching Pitch Perfect. And you were just like, yeah, that's what I do too. Hell yeah. That sounds awesome. But yeah, I highly recommend those movies. They're fantastic.
Again, I haven't seen the third one. The second one I think is a lot worse than the first one, but the first one is great.
What?
I'm one of those weirdos that I've genuinely always really liked acapella stuff. The Blanks, the band that did the stuff in Scrubs, really fun. Love that stuff. But my number 3 is a film that is, I think, my most modern film on here. Oh yeah, by a long shot. That is Andy Samberg in Palm Springs. Palm Springs was a Hulu released film that was all produced by the guys on the Lonely Island, starring Andy Samberg, of course, and Christina Milioti, I think is her last name. And it is essentially a Groundhog Day style romantic comedy. And it is really well done, like superbly acted, interesting, engaging story. The entire cast just kills it. You genuinely care about these two people and them, getting out of this time loop and finding their way back to each other. And it's something that really, for me at least, took me off guard because I kind of did not expect it to be great. I got to be honest, and I don't know why, because the Lonely Island guys have pretty much killed everything they've done. Hot Rod was amazing. Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping is maybe one of the funniest movies of the last 20 years, easily.
I saw that.
And that so many people didn't. I did as well. It is so good. And then Palm Springs, like I'm very sad this one only got a Hulu release. I think that this would have done really well theatrically. If I remember right, they it was sort of a media stunt, I guess, where they had a check ready to go when they were trying to sell the rights to this at the Palm Springs Film Festival. And they came out and said, all right, here is the starting bid. It was like $25,000. And they said, here's $25,000 and a penny, and bought their own rights so that they could distribute it themselves, sign the deal with Hulu, and put it all out. And it is a great movie.
I haven't heard of it. I'll have to go check it out.
You've never seen Palm Springs? Yeah, it is good. And it feels like a flip movie. I think it's something that you genuinely really like a lot.
There's Asians in it?
There's like one or two, but they're mostly in the desert. So
do they have swords?
No. There is a bow and arrow, though.
Okay, you got me. Does the Asian hold it?
No. God, no.
Lost me at the end. Number 3. Passion of the Christ. Nothing says summer like a Middle Eastern Jewish man crucified. Am I right? What's your number 3? No, I'm kidding. My number 3 is, speaking of Asians in the desert, Lone Wolf and Cub Baby Cart at the River Styx. That's a summer movie, baby. It's a summer movie. I could have just put all 5.
19 people are at home drinking right now because you just mentioned it.
It's the greatest movie of all time, so everyone should be drinking. That's a fucking fantastic movie. I honestly think it's my favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's
I
great.
don't think I've known that.
Okay, maybe it's number 2. But it's up there. It's fantastic. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
What would be number 1?
Guess.
I mean, I'm assuming Seven Samurai, but I would.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a summer movie, man. It takes place during the summer. There's Asians in the desert.
I guess you missed that. We'll let you see that on replay. Nothing. I said Seven Samurai, and you went like this, and as you did that, I went like this.
But yeah, it's a fantastic summer. It's a perfect summer fun movie. Like if I had a projector in a backyard, I would call my boys up, and by boys I mean like my friend Jen that lives down the street, and we would watch Lone Wolf and Cub Baby Cart at the River Styx, eat some pizza, drink some Monster Rehab.
It takes everything I am to not say right now. Is his last name Kazama?
No, it's Habaradas. He's Filipino, not Japanese.
This whole video is off the rails.
Oh, trust me, brother. We could really go off the rails. I'm chilling here in Cedar Rapids. We both just take our shirts off and our tits are flopping. And we're like, hey, guys.
So I guess we're on my number 2. What a transition. I'm going to throw an obvious one out there. A lot of summer is miserable, and I got to go with the 2003 remake starring Jessica Biel, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is such a sticky movie. It is one that is miserable through and through from the opening scene, primarily because it's miserable to drive through Texas anytime, but summer, like Oh my god, it is so
And it's sticky because
gross.
Jessica Biel's in it.
I mean, thankfully, but that remake, genuinely one of my favorite remakes. I think it's a very good, in a lot of ways, improvement on the original. I think that it is
Really? You think it's better than the original?
not all around, but I think that there are a lot of things that are better about it. I think that it is a scarier film for sure. I think it's
Yeah.
one that is more intimidating. I think that the Leatherface aspect is much more like he's more brooding in that movie. He takes up a lot more like screen space, if that makes sense.
Who played him? Kane Hodder?
No, I have no idea. I got to be honest. I probably should know this offhand, and it's probably a name that I'm going to kick myself for. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
2006? 3?
2003. It was, oh no, I was never going to get this name. Andrew Bierniarski.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I love that guy.
He was also in Street Fighter and Hudson Hawk and Any Given Sunday.
All those things are just my thing.
I mean, genuinely, a couple of them are. I know how much you love Bruce Willis. That's why I said that. So yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, genuinely a really good remake. One that it seems to get lumped in with all the other remakes, but I think it is squarely on the much more positive side than a lot of the others. If I remember right, I did see that one in theaters, primarily because of Jessica Biel. I mean, I was like 16 when that came out, so obviously, really, really well filmed too. For when that came out, it felt not like the original, but also not like a lot of the stuff that was going to be coming out around that time. We were still kind of in that awkward transition from the 90s seeming really cheesy horror going into like the Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summers, followed by what would start coming out in like 2005 and 6, which was very formulaic. And I think it just hit that sort of sweet spot. It is around 2002 and 3, probably one of my top 5 horrors from those couple of years.
I was in junior high when that came out. I think it was in 8th grade. I remember being very obsessed. That was back when I liked horror movies. I was very obsessed with that movie. I loved it.
It was a good one.
My number 2, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That's a great, great fucking movie.
Love that movie. That movie is genuinely one of the funniest fucking things I've ever experienced in my life. It's awesome. Just a pure. If you guys don't know, it's a horror comedy, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's not scary at all. It's just pure fun. It's just playing on old horror movie tropes, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Is there a sequel to that?
No.
I wish there was. I could watch those two be those two. And
I feel like there was talks that there was going to be one written right around like when Cabin in the Woods got big, because it's a similar setting, I guess. So yeah, I don't think I've heard anything since then, but that's one that could have been real good. Wait, am I thinking of that properly? When did that come out?
2006.
Is it that old? That is what? No, that came out in 2010.
Oh,
okay. So yeah, the Cabin in the Woods thing is accurate. It was right around then because that came out in like 2012, even though it was shelved for a full year or whatever because they were waiting for Thor to get popular.
Really?
Yeah. All of Cabin in the Woods sat on the shelf until Hemsworth, like he filmed that before he was Thor, and it didn't release until after Thor came out.
Wow.
So that they could capitalize on that.
What's your number 1?
My number 1, if you watch the recent series we did on favorite authors, probably not a super big surprise. So to change the tone abruptly from everything of us just laughing the entire time so far, to a lot more vulnerable and real. I was raised, and we've talked about this many times, in a not great home. Both of my dad and my stepmom were really rough. It was a terrible place to live in. Dad was an alcoholic, but there was one thing other than awesome dad rock music that my dad would be counted on to share with me, and that was that the last day of school of every single year, I got to hear blared out my windows School's Out for the Summer, which will always make me think of Dazed and Confused. And I think
it's a funny movie.
Huh?
That's a funny movie.
I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about being raised in a shitty house.
You know, can I say something highly inappropriate?
No. So Dazed and Confused. Dazed and Confused is a really, I mean, it's kind of a harsh movie too. I mean, there's people going around paddling the crap out of people.
Which just turned me on. I was like, Ben Affleck, come here. I've been bad.
Wow. Yeah, Dazed and Confused is it's a very Richard Linklater film. It reeks of him because it's so much of that exact cheese of slice of life that I unfortunately just fall prey to every time because I don't know why I love it so much, but it's just perfect. It's one of those things where I know that life that they portrayed in that was never going to be like anything I was living. But the first time I saw that, I was probably maybe middle school. And it just made me like, man, high school is going to be this real deal. And then, of course, it was nothing like that. And I was just disappointed.
Yeah, we weren't born in the 70s. That's why.
Yeah. Plus, I lived in the middle of the desert in California. It was never going to be the same.
You can hang out with some scorpions.
I did.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. I've messed with scorpions all kinds of times. I've gotten...
you always seem like a more of a Sub-Zero type guy than
Touche.
You want to know what my number one is?
Well, first, anything about Dazed and Confused?
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's one of the best movies of all time. Certified classic.
Really is.
Certified hood classic. Whenever you put that movie on, you get done watching, you're like, damn, son, where'd you find this?
Decent Criterion release, too.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I would have preferred, a label like Kino. I don't know.
I think it would have made a really nice Arrow release, similar to what they did for like Weird Science.
Weird Science. That speaking of boners, that movie. My number one.
Pizza the Hut.
That's what I call my guy. Pizza the Hut.
It's from Spaceballs, obviously. I was talking about the giant turd.
Looks like Jabba, so I call it.
Right.
Oh my god.
Hey, number one.
Number one. Kill Bill. I'll never forget being in the summer, going to my grandparents' house, sitting. They had this big, comfy fucking chair, and I sat in it. I pushed it up to the TV. I sat in it, and there was Kill Bill. And I watched just Volume 1. I watched Volume 1, and I was like, this is the coolest. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I got to watch it again. And I immediately watched it. It was summer out. I should have been outside in the pool doing something. But no, I was sitting inside watching Kill Bill and falling in love with stuff that eventually, 20 years later, I would be madly obsessed with.
I am really due for another Kill Bill rewatch for both.
Yeah, so I got the whole Bloody Affair bootleg from Sloppy Seconds I need to watch. That's a good name for a company, though. Sloppy Seconds, you've got to give them that.
For a bootleg company? Yeah.
That is a good name. But yeah, that's my number one.
He charges a lot less than the other damn competitors, too.
Yeah, it's like, what, like $8?
Yeah.
It's like,
he does sales and stuff.
I'll give you $8 for a fucking bootleg copy of Big Titted Monsters from Outer Space 9. Because have you seen how much porn
he's got a lot of pinky stuff on there too?
It's fucking obscene. It's like, all right, dude, calm down. But people are requesting that.
One of the movies I watched this week is a bootleg that we're going to talk about tomorrow live.
Is it Pinky Violence?
No, and that's one of the reasons why I scored it less than I would have if it.
Here's the thing with like Pinky Violence is that like there's two versions of Pinky Violence. There's like when they were trying to make artsy stuff, and while still being graphic, like Lady Snowblood. And then there's just a part where they're just like, fuck it, let's just have a hardcore porno. There you go. I don't like that stuff. I don't like porn.
Did did you have any honorable mentions?
Every movie I watch.
Jesus. So I did have two that I wanted to bring up. Desperately close to making my list was the movie Holes. Speaking of porno,
That's a good movie.
Holes is great. I genuinely have always liked Shia LaBeouf, even though he's a terrible person.
You can give him a porn star name because it's Holes, the porno. Shy Guy LaButt.
Shy Guy?
Yeah, Shy Guy.
That's
LaButt.
what you went with?
Yeah, Shy Guy LaButt.
Shy Guy LaButt. All right.
Who else is
yeah.
in that?
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Squirt Gordy Beaver.
I was just waiting for you to say Porny Beaver.
No, Squirt Gorney, dude.
Squirt Gorney.
Who else is in there? Pull up the cast for Holes.
Said.
Pull up the cast for Holes.
We're doing this right now.
We're gonna have some fun. So we got Shy Guy LaButt and Squirtney Beaver.
Squirt Gorney is what you said the first time.
Squirt Gorney Beaver.
John Voight.
John Voight.
Yes.
That one's hard. Help me here.
John Toit.
Oh, John's Toy.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of our favorite movies from last year featured this next guy, Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson.
This is not working very well.
Tit Lake Feltson. Tit Lake Feltson. Okay. Who's next?
No, we're done. We jumped the shark like crazy. The last one to mention, I think, is maybe one of the legitimately funniest movies of all time. And I was really worried because Netflix really could have ruined the legacy of this movie. But instead, they genuinely have enhanced it quite a bit. And I'm going to have to go with Wet Hot American Summer.
You could really work with that one.
Genuinely probably the best cast of any comedy of all time. And what's crazy is that they were all mostly unknown at the time, and all of them have exploded. I mean, when they came back to do a second film and they had to hide around Bradley Cooper for 2/3 of it because he was doing some other film, it is crazy, the people that are in this movie. I mean, even the side characters like Janine Garofalo and everybody else is so funny.
Bradley Cooper's in Wet Hot American Summer?
He is.
He goes from that to fucking Chris Kyle. That's great.
Yeah, and your second favorite movie, Hangover 3, but he is he plays a gay dude in Wet Hot American Summer.
I thought you were going to say an American Sniper. I was like, yeah.
Anyways, Wet Hot American Summer. Everybody should watch it. It is fantastic. The series also really good on Netflix.
There's a series?
There is a series, and it should not have been good, and it's very good.
Damn. I'll have to watch that. I like Wet Hot American Summer.
And it's if you haven't seen it, Wet Hot American Summer is genuinely sort of a weird comedy. Like, there's a fucking time capsule, or not time capsule, space shuttle that comes in at the end of it, but they expand the lore of this film through a series and I believe a second film, if I remember right. It's been a while since I watched everything, but yeah, they've done a lot.
Wet Crotch American Bummer.
Please don't stop working at the restaurant and go into adult film.
Actually, Jeremy hired me to write some stuff for reality TV. I'm just kidding.
Jeremy has had a lot of money.
He's gonna want his money back.
So anyways, summer movies. So my last one was Wet Hot American Summer. Did you genuinely have any honorable mentions you wanted to bring up? So next week,
Fast Time at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, that's a good one.
For some reason, Sam's Club, for those of you who don't live in the Midwest, Sam's Club is like it's like a Costco. They had a 2-pack.
I think Sam's Club is everywhere.
Is it?
It's owned by Walmart.
Never heard of them. But they had a 2-pack. It was Dazed and Confused and Fast Times. So I got both those as a kid, very young, and Fast Times is
It's
very
a horny movie.
It's a movie. Sean Penn, Spicoli,
Gates. Let's just say his disc was scratched.
Whatever happened to conical boobs? What? I've never seen anybody with conical boobs anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Gravity, yeah.
Why? What happened? Why in the 80s and 70s there were so many of them?
Evolution? I don't know.
Yeah, find somebody.
You got very introspective there about conical boobs.
Have you seen a pair?
And not recently.
Exactly. We're always worried about the environment. We're always worried about, saving the planet. Why don't we save the conical boob? I think that's when society started to fall apart.
I mean, I can't really argue that. I don't have any counterpoints.
I'm going to become like Alex Jones, but for liberals just like spew crazy conspiracies about the right. You know how funny that'd be?
No.
Be hilarious. The conservatives, they want to take away peanut butter.
Just like that, in a GIF.
Though, did you see the peanut butter recall?
Yep.
Yeah. Taylor was like, "There's a peanut butter recall. Do we check the fridge and see if it's ours?" And I looked, I'm like, "Yeah, it's ours." And she's like, "Yeah, I was like shitting water for like 2 days. That's probably why." I'm like, yeah. What food gives you the worst diarrhea?
Jesus. Nothing. I have an iron stomach.
I mean, probably. Yeah, you cook a variety of things, so I can only. Do you really?
Yeah, I really don't have any reactions like that,
dude. I literally water came out of my butt today.
I've had one bad reaction to hot sauce in the last 5 years, but that was the only one, and it was only to one specific hot sauce, and I literally narrowed it down somehow.
So, is it just solid all the time?
I mean, why are we describing?
I'm impressed.
I'm regular, yes.
I'm not. I'm like, I don't know. Mine's terrible, dude. It's like any food too. Like it's anything. It's anything. It sucks. It sucks really bad. It's like awful. Just like having to go. And it's not just like, oh, I can eat 8 hours later I have to poop. It's like I eat and then literally 10 minutes later it's a life or death situation. It feels like every time. And there was a while when I was like, I'll send you a picture off air, but it was like,
I think I'm all right.
We're not there with our friendship.
No.
You used to send my dad and my mom pictures of my shit.
Back in the old when the Verizon flip phones could barely take pictures.
Yeah.
I had a friend that his dad owned the plumbing business that I was apprenticing for, and there was something with this Verizon phone that you could take a picture and then attach a sound. And he took a picture of a toilet that he had to literally use a wire hanger to break stuff up before it went down. And his picture came with the sound of him just going, "Ah!" But as soon as you open the phone to open the message, it would just make that sound. So it was just, "Ah!" until you closed it.
I don't know why this triggered this memory, but do you know the band Death Grips?
Of course.
You know the album No Love Deep Web?
I don't.
There's an album cover, and it's just a giant cock. Okay? And I don't know why this remembered, but I was at college waiting for class to start, and I'm listening to that, and I'm not realizing that there's a giant penis on my phone and I'm holding it, it's unlocked, and some girl saw it and went, ah! And I was like, what? What? She's like, what are you watching? I'm like, oh, this album cover.
Just imagine if you were listening to Anal Cunt.
I love, rest in peace to the singer. He died sliding down an escalator. I'm not making that up. Died a few years ago. Anal Cunt rocks. Hitler Was a Sensitive Man is a banger of a song.
I don't think I've listened to like snippets. I've never even listened to a full song from them.
They're awesome. The lead singer was being a goof at the mall and riding down an escalator and died. So
can happen to anyone.
Rest in peace to Anal Cunt.
Anyways, so we will be live again next Tuesday. I will share all of my exploits of being in California, tell you how it went watching movies at the New Bev with Jeremy. I will share what I saw at the convention, and yeah.
If you see Robert De Niro, tell him I said hi.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll give him a business card for the restaurant.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you. We'll see you guys all next week.
See you guys.
Have a good one. The head shaking.